Hello everyone, welcome to this detailed review of the iPad Pro M4. I bought this iPad around 16th April. As you can see, today is 12th June. It has been almost 2 months, and today I'm going to go over everything that you need to know about the iPad Pro M4 as a student, and at the end make a decision whether this is the right device for you or not. Now, I have the base variant of the iPad Pro M4, which means that I have 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage, as well as the standard glass version. So first things first, the build quality. Now, I know you've heard a lot of YouTubers say that this is thin, but trust me, until you hold this device in your own hand and feel it for yourself just how lightweight and thin it is, you won't believe that, and that genuinely makes it such a good device to carry around. It really makes it portable, at least for me, and the build quality for itself is extremely solid. I've had no problems with it whatsoever. You may think that this is so thin, so what if it breaks in half or cracks? Trust me, the build quality is built like that you will not have any sort of problem. For context, this is the size difference between the iPad Pro M4 11-inch and an A4 paper. Now the next thing is the display, and I know a lot of YouTubers, they keep gassing up how good the display is, but trust me, until and unless you see the display for yourself, this is, by the way, a tandem OLED, and that means that this is a device which has two OLED displays stuck together. So this is not actually one OLED, this is actually two OLED. And the display is as good as it can be. My camera, unfortunately, is not doing any sort of justice to how good and smooth and, good for watching content this display is. But trust me, once you see it for yourself, you'll understand. Now, the next thing is the camera. As you can see, the camera right now looks really good. You can see my setup on top, but once I click on the picture and then go inside of it, you can see that it turned it into a bit grainy, and you may not understand it much now, but once you take actual selfies with it and it makes your face super grainy, that is when it turns a bit annoying. It is a bit annoying in that sense. Other than that, the camera for video quality, I've done multiple meetings with this and the camera did not disappoint me even once. And I have heard from my friends that I look better on the iPad camera, which I do not know if it is a compliment or an insult, but I guess we'll take that. Now let's come to the performance as a student and how has been my overall experience with multitasking. I take all of my notes in free notes. As you can see, this is my French notes from last day, and it serves me really good. I've had no problem taking notes on this thing. It is absolutely fast, absolutely good, and you can see all of the note examples. And if I want, then if I do split view, I can just open another tab and have everything open at the same time. That all these things has been no problem for me. However, there is one specific multitasking bug that bothers me, and I think you should know about that. If I go to YouTube over here and then play any video, right? Let me turn off the volume, and let's say let me turn on a coding video. Over here, I turned it on. It's completely fine. There's no issue whatsoever. However, when I do split view and then go to my free notes, suppose I'm learning from this app and writing on this, you can see over here in this space, the writing, it's double. A very important thing. I'm currently on the iPad OS 18.7.3, if I'm not wrong. So usually if I'm watching YouTube, you can see the problem, it does not exist. However, the moment I do split view and I turn on even files or anything else for split view, as you can see, there is this double writing over here, which is a bit annoying. As you can see, it goes away, but just when I'm watching the video, this exists, and that is genuinely so annoying for me. Now the next thing that you need to know, which is the performance. I play Call of Duty on this thing. I have Roblox, Dr. Driving Slither.io as well. Roblox, I think I've played it only once, and I daily, I think at least 2 to 3 hours every single day, I play Call of Duty, and not even once I saw a lag or there was a performance drop or anything like that when I was playing. And now let's talk about overheating. If overheating occurs or not. My classes are usually 1.5 hours long, and when I do that, there is not a single overheating or even heating issue that I have faced at all. This thing does not lag or throttle or any kind of that, and I have taken notes on this thing. I think at least at a stretch for almost 3 hours, and till then there was no heating issues at all. However, when it comes to gaming, usually in the beginning there is no heating at all, but the room that I'm staying in, this room is very, very warm. So I will blame my, my temperature of the room rather than the iPad itself, because it only hits up after you say I'm gaming for 2 to 3 hours straight, and that is only when I notice that it is heating up. It is heating up, and that is when I would, take off the cover and perhaps try to cool down my room a bit so that the iPad cools down. Other than that, there has been no issue at all. Now, let's come to one of the very main topics, which is battery life. How is the battery life on the iPad Pro M4? And if I have to answer it in 3-4 words, it does not disappoint. That is all I'm going to say. Let me go to my battery health. As you can see, 30 cycles. I've been using it for 2 months straight up every single day, but the cycle count is 30. And if I go to the last 10 days, you can see 4 hours 53 minutes, 3 hours 17 minutes, 2 hours 11 minutes. This day I had no classes. So Tuesday, I had classes. You can see screen time 6 hours 44 minutes, and you can see that I played Call of Duty for 2 hours almost, and I took notes on the Free Notes app for 3 hours. So these in total are 5 hours. So when it comes to note taking, I would say per class, which is again 1.5 hour, per 1.5 hour of constant note taking, that drains up most probably 10% of my battery, which is very, 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 very convenient. Which means by the way, I do not maintain the 20 to 80 battery cycle. I maintain the 30 to 80 battery cycle. I don't know, I just feel like once my battery drops to 30%, that is when I should charge, and that has been working for me really well. And if I do that, then you can say that I just on Free Notes I can spend at a stretch 6 to 7 hours, which is really, really good. And on YouTube, I would say per 30 minutes, sometimes 4% charge gets eaten up, sometimes 2%, and I think it depends on a lot of factors. But at the same time, I have my background app refresh off, so let me know if you want a battery saving video. I can do that as well. Now, another cons that I would like to talk about is the Files app. Now, Apple is a $1 trillion company. Something as simple as the Files app, you would think that this is perhaps one of the most optimized applications. It is the absolute opposite. This Files app is the most unoptimized app I've ever seen in my life. I'll just show you one example. These are 2 of my books, and if I go to this one, and let's say that I'm searching for chapter 13, right? So I search 13, it's searching through it very well, and then I go to a certain page, right? Let's say somewhere over here. I'm on the 5th page, by the way, which is nothing at all, right? And then I have this book, which is the maths book. Let me just say that now I want the solutions to the maths, right? Let me keep this on. Let's say there are a few maths here, and I want to open the solution book. So I go to the split view, I turn on the Files app, and then I go to the solution. And over here, if I search for 13, you just saw what happened right in front of my eyes. The entire thing just glitched. Let me show you one more time if it didn't catch on. If I go to chapter 13, and then I come to this page. By the way, this PDF, this one is 30 MB, and I turn on another window, which is this one, which is the solution book, and I search for chapter 13 over here, chapter 13 over here, and then hit on done. Oh, sorry, why didn't it split view? As you can see, it refreshed, and I cannot do that here at all. However, if I try to do the same thing on my free notes app, I'll just show you Math 250, same PDFs, right? This is the page, and then I go to split view, free notes, and then I turn on the other one, and over here, if I search for chapter 13, it's going to show me all the pages with chapter 13, and I go to one. As you can see, it comes over here and it works perfectly on this. So it's not an iPad problem. It's not that the iPad is bad and oh my god, I cannot do it on the iPad. It is the Files app that is just so bad, and it's such a shame because Apple, if they want, they can easily fix this thing. This thing is not even having 100 MB of my RAM, but it will keep on crashing. So this is one of the niched errors that you may encounter when it comes to the iPad. The speakers. Now let's say that I go to YouTube again, right? I turn on Wi-Fi, and then I go to YouTube and I search for non-copyright music over here. And now let me show you the full volume, right? The full volume test over here. Pretty good, right? As you can hear, like, this is 50% of the volume, and you would think 50% would mean a decent sound, right? But no, the 50% almost feels like 20%, while 100%. So this is an error that I find that sometimes it's hard for me to find the right volume balance, because I feel like the speaker is very much unoptimized when it comes to the volume. Now again, it could be a bug that I'm facing on the iPad OS 18.7.3. So let me know if there's a fix to that. And right now I'm going to show you the last glitch or bug or issue that I've found with the iPad Pro M4. And that is, if I just try to, clear all the apps, right? Not a problem. Let me clear them. Clear them, clear them, clear them. Now, when I'm going to clear this up, you'll see what I mean. There was a glitch. If you didn't notice that, here's it one more time. As you can see, a glitch happens, and I don't know why that glitch happens, but it only happens sometimes, not every time I've faced it. Like, as I just said, it doesn't happen every single time. It only happens certain times, and it's just very weird to me that these types of bugs exist for the highest end iPad that there is. Yes, that is the iPad Pro M5, but these are the things that you would not expect to have on the M4. So with all the pros and cons being said, is this the device that I would buy again? 100% yes. And that is because because of the display, because of the weight factor, because of how good this thing is. And as I said, I'm playing Call of Duty on this thing for hours and hours, and I do not notice a performance drop at all. And the battery life literally lasts me a day. Like, I go to the university with 80% charge, and I'm going to come home, and I don't think I've ever had it less than 50%, even though I've used it for the entire day. And the battery is extremely, extremely good, at least for me. And these are the apps that I'm using. I'm not using any other apps. So with all that being said, if you have the money, if you want to invest, and you feel like, your heart is going towards the Pro, then with all means go for the iPad Pro M4. The display, the refresh rate, and the weight and the super duper performance really makes up for it. However, if you're a basic user and you do not care about the pro features, then please, by all means, go for the base model or even the Air model, and I think they will do you just as much justice, because as a student you do not need that much power. But I bought this iPad because it was my dream iPad, and I would say to that extent it is serving me extremely good, and I'm really in love with that thing. And yeah, that is it for all of the pros and cons of the iPad Pro M4. And let me know if there is something that you want to know about it in specific that I didn't go over, and I would try to record them as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.